After roughly 8 hours of futility, Chairman Comer basically waved the flag with a plea to get Joe Biden to testify before the committee. Look, it seems it was a tough day for House Republicans on a probe that seemed to be sputtering to a close, but we always like to have all perspectives on this show. Joining us now is Tim Burchett, Republican congressman from Tennessee, member of the House Oversight Committee. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Looks like your lights. Oh, there, we got it back.
I got it.
He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Look, you always call them as you see them. Would you agree that this impeachment inquiry is basically over?
We're not going to have the votes. That's clearly the case. I don't think we ever did. I think you had a few Republicans that would have pulled out, and now that a bunch have just left us in the middle of their terms or before the end of their terms, I think it'd be very questionable whether we could get the votes. And I've said all along, even if we had the smoking gun, as you've called it, I don't think the Justice Department's going to do anything. I always thought, honestly, I mean, this is kind of the Al Capone thing. I said we should have if we know $20 million has flowed through this family one way or the other, and you can argue whether it was legal, the communist Chinese, whatever, 10% for the big guy. You can argue all that. But I always thought we should have looked at, did they pay any taxes on any of this stuff? You know, that's what I've said that from the beginning. I'm not an attorney, and I like first quarter accounting so much I took it twice. So,
well, look, but Hunter Biden's been charged for not paying taxes, right? I mean, 2018.
Well, the statute ran on some of it,
yeah.
And we don't know about all of it. And if we did that, I think then we would know the actual flow of the money, and they would have to say under oath whether it was, in a court setting, because, here's the thing. We had this January 6th commission, and the gentleman who just went to jail today, his name escapes me. He goes to jail because he refuses to testify before the committee.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden refuses to testify before our committee, and there won't be any charges. Look, this thing is going nowhere. You and I both know it because of the political makeup. But do I think it should go for a vote? I do, because I'm tired of hearing folks say, "Well, I'm going to vote to impeach," and then they wink and nod to all their buddies up here. "Oh, we're not going to ever do it. I ain't going to vote for that. You know that." I just put it up for a vote. Let it go up or down, and let's get on with it. And then the women from The View can analyze it and be the political consultant for the left. I don't care. I really don't care. Because I don't. These things run out too dadgum long. And I've always said this, and I'm guilty of this more than anybody. Americans want their pizzas in 30 minutes or less. And dadgummit, that's about our attention span.
Yeah.
They've moved on, and they are ready to get on to something else. But this is the committee of jurisdiction for this. People say, "Why are you looking into this? Why aren't you fixing, potholes or something?" Well, that's Transportation Committee. This is oversight, and this is what we do.
Let me ask you just one question. You mentioned the fact that Hunter Biden didn't show up and that Peter Navarro is going to prison. But, there were other members of the Trump team who refused to testify, who didn't get charged. I mean, Mark Meadows, Dan Scavino, they didn't show up. They refused to testify. They didn't get prosecuted by the DOJ.
Yeah. Congressmen were not, they weren't prosecuted for it.
Yeah. Congressman, look, it's always good to have you on because I never know exactly what you're going to say. And that's always interesting because you say what you're thinking. And I think that's great. I can agree or disagree, but it's always interesting, and we always appreciate your time.
Hey, I'm conservative. I'm just not angry about it. I tell you what I am angry about, though. Chris Cuomo has been telling me he's going to take me he wants me to, I've never been to New York City, okay? He's going to take me up there. He's got a guy that works with him. His daddy owns an Italian restaurant. "Oh, I'm going to take you there. We're going to go do all this stuff, one day." And then I'm like, and here I am. I'm sitting here. My wife and daughter are back in Tennessee going, "Hey, when's this Chris Cuomo going to bring you up to New York City, baby?" And I said, "I don't know. They've been there. My daughter's 16. She's been all over the dadgum world."
All right,
but her poor daddy, United States Congressman, he doesn't get to go to New York City.
I got two things to say to you. Number one, this show will bring you up to New York to have you on studio in studio, and I will take you out to a better Italian restaurant than Cuomo would take you. Number two, here's the problem. I don't know if you heard me talking to him before. This is a guy who goes out for $28 cheeseburgers. So I think that part of the issue may be that he's thinking this could be a hefty bill here if I have to take him to my fancy cheeseburger place.
Tell him I'll pay that cheap wad. I'll take him to Linton's back in Knoxville. They got the best cheeseburger in America. I don't care where you're from.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.